Yogananda said that if you can see life as a movie, you are free. Listen to this. If you can see life as a movie, you are free. Liberation. Final liberation, right? From the Advaita perspective, he's absolutely right. And Advaita gives you an angle to realize this, to realize that life is a movie, a show. And it's not difficult. And this video is about that. It's about the how to realize that life is a show, is a movie. And why it will make you free? It will make you free because you will gain full detachment from everything. In that detachment, you can contemplate life as a movie, as a show, nothing important. Then you're detached and you have peace of mind and happiness. So let's go to the how-to. Yes, you can do this with meditation, and eventually meditation will lead you there, but that's a very long path. What we will discuss here is a shortcut. Why is a shortcut? It is a shortcut because it does not depend on attaining a very difficult to attain spiritual experience or deep meditative state. It's not about that. It is about looking into our normal human experience and realize right there, in the human experience, not in a divine experience, not in a spiritual experience, not in a meditative experience, no, in the human experience with all its issues, realize right there that life is a movie. That's why it's a shortcut. Because attaining deep spiritual experiences can be lifetimes. And sometimes they come, but they come unannounced and they go. So how we do it? The first thing that you need to do is to notice that in your human experience there is a constant perceiving. Right now there is a perceiving of the screen of your computer, a perceiving of the room that you're in, and it is absolutely undeniable. It is obvious. There is perceiving. That is the first step. Please do it. Notice that there is perceiving in your experience. It's easy. First step. And that's 50% of the equation. That's why I tell you this is really simple. The second thing that you need to realize is that all that is being perceived the objects in front are everything. There is nothing, no thing that is not part of the perceived. Everything is in front, and there is perceiving of all that thing. The Buddhists call the perceived, they called it the 10,000 things. What are those things? Well, you can catalog them into 5 fundamental objects: emotions, sensations, beliefs, motivations, and thoughts. That's the universe. That is the perceived. These 5 mental objects. Yes, you can say there is a house there, there is a tree there, there is light coming in through the window, there is a window. Yeah, but all that is no more than visual sensations, right? So eventually you can bring the 10,000 things into 5 things that are dancing. Dancing in front of what? In front of the perceiving. So in the human experience, you need to see clearly that there is perceiving and perceived. And everything is part of the perceived, except the perceiving, which can be also called awareness, right? So there is awareness of the 10,000 things. That's all there is to the human experience. Now your mind may come and question this. Yes, it will. First, it will say, what about the body? Well, the body is part of the perceived too. How do you know that there is a body here? You know it because you can touch it. That's a sensation. You can see it. You can hear the sound of the heart. You can smell it. And in your mouth, you can taste the body. Through the 5 senses, you know that there is a body here. So the body is in front. The body is part of the perceived. But your mind may continue complaining and say, but what about my mind? I am my mind. So the mind is not part of the perceived. That's bullshit. It's not true. The mind is also in front. Emotions, thoughts, motivations, beliefs, mind stuff. Like a movie in front. Part of the perceived. Then the mind may complain again and say, but what about me? What about I? BS again. The I is also in front, is part of the perceived. And what is the I? Very simple. There are thoughts about I or me. You can discover feelings about me. But the me is not there. You can't find it. You can find ideas and thoughts about me, feelings about me, but you cannot find the me. Because the me is a belief, a false belief. It doesn't exist. That's why you as so-and-so, whatever is your name, you don't exist. But you do exist, you are, that's a better word, as awareness, the perceiving of the movie. That's awakening. Awakening is that realization, a very fundamental one. But anyway, this is not about awakening, it's about realizing that life is a movie, it's a show. So, what do you get when you realize that in your life everything is being perceived? Everything. You begin to gain detachment. And how you can bring this into a kind of a practice so that it will not be just a momentary realization, but the insight will creep in and take over your life, so that you will experience life completely detached, seeing it as a movie, truly. How you can do that? Well, there is something you can practice that can help, and it is labeling whatever arises as part of the perceived. You go for a walk, you look around, oh, the perceived. A feeling arises, the perceived. You label everything as the perceived. If you want, the movie, the show, any of these words that help you to gain greater and greater detachment from the movie, which is happening in front of you, you as awareness. And the more you dwell on this, the more you tell yourself the truth that everything is just the show, the perceived, the observed, the more you do this, the greater the detachment. Now, what can be an obstacle to attain this? Objects that arise in the perceived, in the show, that have hooks, velcros, that do not allow you to detach yourself. And what are these objects? Negative emotions, distorted thoughts, crooked false beliefs, painful sensations, addictions to sensations, conflictive motivations, negative stuff, negative mental stuff that have hooks, and it is difficult to detach yourself from that stuff. So what do? You need to do some house cleaning. In spirituality, it's also called purification. Yes, to purify the mind-body system from this type of mental objects that are sticky. Obviously, there are many ways to do this, many ways. I also offer coaching sessions where we focus into healing these aspects of the mind. In case you are interested, I will leave you my email below in the description of the video. That can help too. And if you if you have been sincere about looking for awakening, but it's not happening, consider getting the awakening protocol. And I will leave you a link below also. The awakening protocol is a long 4 hour, 5 hours session, which I do only on Saturdays, one-on-one, no matter where you are, it's through the computer. And it can help you to attain the awakening, to see clearly that, oh yeah, I am awareness. I am not so and so. And never was. Was a lie. So insist in this angle. Everything that is arising is part of the perceived, is part of the show, and there is no exception. Everything is in front. Insist in this angle until you see that you are gaining detachment, greater and greater detachment from the dream, from the movie, from the show. The approach is based on truth. It's true. In your human experience, there is only perceiving and perceived. The Greeks also found this. They called it phenomena in front and noumenal, that which sees the phenomena. Everything is phenomena. The noumenal is awareness. So they got it. That life is a show. Have a good one.